Hey there everyone, this is Samuel Johnson
I'm Halley Dudley.
and welcome back to the Alien Force Retrospectives. And today we're going to be looking at episode 35 of Ben 10 Alien Force in Charm's Way. And if the title is anything to go by, it's Charmcaster this episode. What happens is that in the beginning of this episode, Ben, Gwen, and Kevin are out of the beach by Ben's suggestion. They're having a good time, doing their own thing. But Kevin's grouchier than usual. But while they're there, they're attacked by a rock monster, glowing ruins. Essentially, every one of Charmcaster's basic monsters. The group manages to take care of it, but in the process, Kevin's ID mask is damaged, and being reminded of his appearance just kind of gets to him. Well, again, I just spoiled. It turns out that it was Charmcaster that sent the beast, and and it turns out she's been watching them, and the reason at this point she's out for revenge. Sorry. Anyway, so she wants revenge on Gwen because the fact that she stole her spellbook, and she's seen Gwen is a lot more powerful now, and she's jealous. Mm-hmm. So she decides that she's gonna try and get to Gwen through Kevin because she saw how grouchy he was. So when Kevin goes to fix his ID mask after damaging it, she goes to him in the form of Caroline, and they seem to hit it off a little. She even exposes a little bit of her power. And even reveals that she knows that Kevin's face is not real. But and of course she tries getting to him, and she winds up kissing him, but in doing so she winds up putting him under mind control and orders Kevin, I want you to go to Gwen and bring her to the planetarium at midnight. And she says that if you get any trouble from Ben, kill him. So Kevin goes to get Gwen, who's moping and actually a little disheartened about what's going on. And he keeps trying to get Gwen to come with him. And, I forgot to mention that Charmcaster gave him a necklace. That's essential for everything, because that's essential for how they fix him. What happened? So every suggestion he gives, Ben wants to come along for some reason or another. So
yeah, I'm sorry, I have to say that part I found mildly annoying because
it's season 3.
I understand. But he was acting like a 5-year-old.
Remember when I said that? Remember my Vengeance of Vilgax rant? We pretty much went through that ourselves in that scene.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Kevin finally just kind of has enough of Ben's crap, and they get into a fight. But they manage to get the necklace off of Kevin. And when the incident's off, the mind control is banished, and Kevin's just wondering what's going on. Where am I? And so they realize, and so everyone manages to explain the situation. Gwen, and of course Ben and Gwen realize it's Charmcaster, but when Gwen hears that Charmcaster's putting the moves on Kevin, she is pissed, and so she says she wants us at the planetarium. Well, then we'll give her what she wants, even though it's most likely a trap. So she goes inside while she sends out her rock monsters to keep Kevin and Ben occupied, but Gwen goes inside, Charmcaster reveals herself, and they end up having a magic duel. And it looks like Gwen has the upper hand, but it turns out Charmcaster was playing her. It turns out that why she wanted her here was for a ritual to pretty much siphon all of her power out of her. So once Gwen's in the right place, these ruins activate, and she opens up the skyway with the moon overhead, and she pretty much just sucks all of Gwen's power out of her, making her human again. Gwen realizes that because of her hubris, she's screwed up, so they hatch a plan where Kevin goes to Charmcaster, pretending that he's interested in her, and that Gwen, and even tricks Charmcaster, thinking Gwen still has a little power left, and because it's Charmcaster, she wants to get everything. And so Charmcaster and Kevin confront Ben and Gwen with Mr. Smoothie, but when she realizes there's no magic and that Kevin conned her, she goes to fight Gwen directly, causes a car to attack Kevin, and brings the Mr. Smoothie sign to life, and
yeah,
Ben goes up Chuck and just siphons it. Yeah. It is lovely.
It was mildly disturbing when you think about the fact that we just watched Ben Tennyson suck the insides out of one of the villain's monsters through a straw.
Yep. But bottom line, but anyway, while Gwen still doesn't have her magic, she still knows all her jujitsu or karate or whatever the heck she practices. I don't pay attention to crap like that. And I'm probably going to get insults for just saying that. But anyway, However, so Charmcaster, just to show that And she even tries battling Charmcaster mano a mano, but Charmcaster says genre savvy and instead just decides to blast her. But of course, Gwen still has her spell book. And it turns out she read the spell to do this exact same siphoning spell in reverse. So she manages to not only get all of her power back, but begins siphoning it out of Charmcaster as well. And so that's where Charmcaster can send her golems after Gwen. Gwen opens up a dimensional portal, which in turn sucks both rock monsters and Charmcaster in. And so the episode ends with Kevin getting spat on by Upchuck, and actually leading to a nice moment where we kind of see more of the. I'll talk about that later, but pretty much I think while this episode is a Charmcaster center episode, the real strength comes from Gwen and Kevin, so to speak, because the reason Kevin was grouchy is because of his appearance, but Charmcaster manages to get to him by saying that, well, as long as you look like that, then no other girl would be interested in you, right? Little Gwen's probably doing this for her, probably not even bothering to help you. And that's part of the reason why Kevin kind of falls for her trick, because he kind of believes that a little.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, when Kevin and Gwen actually do get into an argument about that, and after Kevin washes off, Ben reveals that ever since the accident where Kevin got turned into this, Gwen has been working, and every time she's had a spare moment, she has been looking for a way to fix him. And it's actually really sad. It's actually kind of it actually is nice. It really carries the tone.
It's a sweet moment, but it's like, it's a very sweet moment to end it on. It's kind of like, it shows that there's, this apparently entire season isn't just going to be trying to be what the original series was, and it's also like, yeah, there's still people. So
yeah, and it's sweet and somber because Kevin realizes he was being a jerk throughout this episode.
Yeah, but he realizes that a lot.
Yeah, except in this case, it has to do with Gwen.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
I think it's one of the strengths of the episode, because you constantly see the tension between them, and it does kind of all come back to Kevin. Like the instant Gwen learns, because it all comes back to when Kevin stormed off at the beach, when he was made fun of her appearance. He reflects that on Gwen. Gwen in turn gets jealous, but then as things just keep getting more heated because Kevin's angry at her for thinking she's not doing anything, and then likewise Gwen gets angry at him because he was hanging with Charmcaster. And then when he finally says, "Oh, you like me like this, right? So no other girl will be interested in me. You're probably not even doing anything." That does hit her.
Yeah.
Hard, because and you can tell just from the way her tone she says, "I'm not having this conversation."
Yeah, she was done with it. Yeah. No, it was definitely a very intense, like, watching those two together was very intense interaction. It was pretty cool to see, but like, just as far as like, it was a very mature issue to tackle, and watching them do that, it was very interesting, because it's just, I honestly didn't go into it expecting to see them doing anything like that. So
yeah.
Okay.
But that was nice, because it helped further along Gwen and Kevin's. But but I think another strength of this episode is also, thankfully, Charmcaster.
She could have been the ultimate power if she would have just not had gone back.
Yeah, but the thing is that they also kind of have that in the show. She has hubris. She thinks she has a high opinion of herself. She has a high opinion of herself, and that's actually something that I kind of like. Apparently, in the 5 years between the classic series and this show, she hasn't matured. She's just as patient, just as practical. She does plan things through, but she still kind of has her own demeanor. Still has the same demeanor as when from the classic show.
Mm-hmm. I agree. She definitely has the same demeanor and everything, but you can also, I personally think that you can tell that she has matured past, just apprentice magician type feel to full on sorceress.
I would probably argue. I'd probably argue that they already kind of did that in one episode. Like there was there was the episode with I forgot. So Change of Face. Mm-hmm. She was the central villain in that one. She was while she couldn't do all the spells by herself. She definitely felt like she was the one in control in that episode.
Yeah, but this one was she didn't need anyone's help, like, because you just said, like, she couldn't do all the spells herself, but it didn't feel like she needed anyone,
Well,
or
she needed
like,
Kevin.
well, no, she used Kevin. Kevin
Sure.
was a convenient tool to get what she wanted.
True.
But she didn't actually, like, actively seek him out beyond, oh, hey, I noticed that you would be an easy in.
Pretty much. Well,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much. Before we talk more about her, how about her design too?
Oh.
It's upgraded from the original show. Before she had
Yeah.
like a cloak that was kind of like a hoodie with high heels and even a ponytail. Here she now has this full purple dress with this weird marking. She's let her hair down to make her look more like a sorceress. She has
It's yeah, full on diva mode.
yeah, full kind of.
I mean, that's the best way I think you can describe it, because it's like she kind of stepped up her, like, it looks like an actual head villain costume, and not like a sidekick who kind of stepped off on their own.
No,
So
but yeah, it definitely looks like she's the one, and it definitely has changed.
mm-hmm.
But her biggest problem is that she still she has the same problems that she had when back in the classic series. She's still arrogant, and just like in the classic series, she does not take even the biggest the smallest of slights against her. Like, I remember going back to In a Change of Face. In that episode, she was gathering ingredients while Ben's by to cook up another transference spell.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, she put the bag of her ingredients on a truck that had gotten stolen. And while of course Ben wanted to go after it because they were people stealing a truck, she wanted to go after it because they took her ingredients by mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And intentionally sicked lobsters on them.
Yeah, no, I get it. But I feel okay. So my personal appreciation for her as the villain in this particular episode was that, like, it kept me up, like, kind of on my toes, because I wasn't quite sure how she would play out as a villain, because, like, for a second they first showed that this is about Charmcaster, she's the one in this one, it was like she didn't seem like the same old girl, and so it didn't seem like she was just going to, fall back into her same patterns. And then when she got Gwen's power, it was for me like oh well, that sucks, and I thought they were actually gonna have to chase after her more and everything. And so it's like, it's rather interesting that it's the same problem as before.
What I can actually do find that, but yeah, she does have that same kind of feel to her. Like when like the instant she sucks all of Gwen's powers, she just leaves. Like, why should I take care of you now? You guys can't stop me. I've already got what I need. That was like, again, going back to A Change of Face. She had that similar attitude. She wanted to switch bodies with Ben to get the Omnitrix, and again, and at that point, I think after she would have gotten the Omnitrix, I don't think she would have given a damn what happened to the rest of them.
Oh yeah, no, I get it, but it's really interesting to see how they made it seem like she had grown up, and like that she was going to be this pretty powerful force, and then it's the same, wait, I didn't get all of her powers type thing. That gets her.
Yeah, that's exactly what is nice. She has kind of matured a little bit, but not enough. Pretty much. And what makes it even nice, and what I think she's actually gotten a little brattier too, because before, when she used to summon her monsters and so forth, they were just I think she really just treated them as tools, so to speak. Like,
tools or pets.
Yeah, pretty much. Just like, she summoned them up, they did what she wanted, and that's really all that was as good. They were good for. But here, when she summons the rock monsters, she insults them at every turn.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad for them.
There was actually one scene, like I mentioned before, I mentioned how Gwen summoned a portal, and suddenly they're all being sucked through, and at one point a rock monster holds on to a light pole, and Charmcaster holds on to her and says, "Don't let go, you useless pile of rock."
And then you could see in his eyes as he opened up his hand.
He looked back at her. You could see the anger, and he opened it up, and even she knows he did that on purpose, just to spite her. Like, I'm willing to go to hell if you're coming with me.
Exactly. No, I thought that was kind of interesting that they made her so mean to them, because, like, oh my goodness, they're doing everything that you told them. Calm down, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think, like, well, we talked about everything that worked. What parts of the episode do you think didn't work?
I didn't Ben was useless.
Ben was
Ben was
a
useless.
typical season 3 problems with Ben being immature, being immature when he shouldn't be. There were some things that I think worked, like the Mr. Smoothie. That was nice. I liked that. And when he did finally give Kevin the whole spiel about Gwen's been working day and night to try and help you, and and it's like, and he said,
But see,
and
that was like the last like 5 minutes of Ben. The first 20 were.
I think he was okay at the beach, but even that, but Ben has that kind of attitude for both.
Yeah.
For both annoying and regular
But it
mature.
seemed like when Ben and Gwen were sitting and talking after, Kevin had stormed off because Kevin had,
I forgot that scene.
And Ben, I can't remember exactly what Ben said, but it was like a total.
He said
it was a dick move.
This is what he said. He said, "Oh, he shouldn't be worrying about that. At least he can go. At least his powers work all the time. At least I have to worry about the Omnitrix and all that stuff and yada yada. He should just learn to deal with it." And I looked at that and I said, "Screw you, kid."
Yeah, that was a dick move.
Very dick move. Very dick move, and it's still symptomatic of the fact that it's like they were writing for 10-year-old Ben when they forgot he was 15.
Yeah, no, and that's really disappointing because like there was such a the Ben that I think of at this point should be more of an accepting, understanding. Well, you have to understand, he's dealing with a lot of stuff. Like I know it's hard, but you guys, and so like I'm expecting a little bit more maturity. Like he can be childish at some points, but like a little bit more maturity would be nice. And then when Kevin is very obviously trying to kidnap Gwen. Like, he first goes, "Let's go to a stock car race." And Gwen's like, "I don't like racing." Ben is running around like, "Oh my god, take me!" And he's going and running around the front yard going,
Ben's a dork, but he's not that big a dork.
Oh, that's not a dork. I know toddlers who behave yet better than that. Like, oh god.
Yeah, Ben could be painful in certain points, but he still had his moments here and there. And again, Mr. Smoothie, may he rest in peace.
Yeah, but see, I feel like I would have appreciated that moment way more if they would have had Ben be a teenager instead of a small child throughout the rest of the episode up to that point, because then it's more like, haha, he's still having fun, and less of like, okay, he's still being a small child.
Yeah, Ben can still have fun with it. Yeah, you can kind of have it both ways. Ben can still be fun while still being mature, because they did it in season 1 and 2. Like I remember one of my favorite lines is in Ben 10 Returns when he first turns into Swampfire and he's just getting back in the groove of it and things. And he's like, "Huh, forgot how fun this was."
Yeah, no, I totally don't understand why that they decided to just.
Again, I got into the spiel about it in an earlier vlog, so I'm not going to repeat myself there.
Yeah.
But bottom line, that's a constant thing in this episode, and I think maybe like some moments with Charmcaster, like maybe here and there, like when she just kind of blurts out her plan while Kevin is still right there. Maybe she seemed a little bit more impatient here and there, but
well, see, when she was telling when she was telling Kevin her plan, then at that point Kevin was already under her control, so it was less of an issue and more of like, listen to my awesomeness, which is kind of annoying, but I appreciate like that's her character to a certain point. But no, I feel like they made her, like, they gave her such an awesome crime that she managed to actually go through and do, and where she actually was like, she was able to steal all of Gwen's powers.
Yeah.
And the fact that she was able to do that is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But then she makes such a big mistake that it feels like they are like, here's someone who's amazing. Just kidding. It's like, oh.
I'll probably argue against that, because Charmcaster's hubris was even the same thing. Because I remember even in the debut episode Tough Luck, she used Hex to reform the charms of Bazelle, and then when they were reformed, she did turn on him just before she could she did turn on him immediately. But I don't know. I feel like she did have a little bit more subtlety, quote unquote, in the classic series. While her personality still remains consistent, I feel like with age, she's just kind of like she's lost a little bit of that subtlety. Not a lot, but
see,
just a little.
I would argue differently, actually, because it wasn't that she was shouting, she wasn't in the open operating. The only reason that they knew what was going on was because they could see the necklace and they're like, oh wait, maybe that has something to do with it. And so they were able to get that off him, and Kevin knew what was going on, but he already knew that he had to bring her to the planetarium. He didn't know what was going to happen, he just knew he had to bring her there. And so it's kind of like she wasn't really, she wasn't broadcasting what was going on. She was actually very close-lipped, and she even expected it to be that Gwen would just decide, no, we're going there anyway, because Gwen, she was prepared for that. And so I feel like we just got to see a better look about exactly how she makes her plans. Because before, it's been kind of more like, she's been, she's a character, but she's been more like, she's the villain that follows the other ones to try and take from them. It seems like, which I'm sure you're going to argue, but it seems like in this, we just got to see her plan from start to finish.
Again, I think they kind of did the same thing in Change of Face, as she was the central villain there, and I think kind of to an extent in Ben 10 versus Negative 10, which I still like, as I loved seeing her personality working off the other villains, especially Rojo. But I don't know, maybe it was just something with me. I think, because I felt like maybe it was just lost a little bit, but for the most part, I think she was still in character. I think really just the more annoying aspects came from just seeing from Ben, and maybe some of the stuff with the relationship between Gwen and Kevin, but I'm more forgiving of that because it does feed into how their relationship is kind of growing, and
no, I look at I agree with you on that, about as far as the issue is because I do agree that watching Kevin, I don't know why I keep doing that, Kevin and Gwen talking and everything, and having these issues, while it is kind of there are moments where it's like, okay, this is getting to be a bit much, it is to further the plot for them, and so that makes sense to me. Ben, oh my gosh,
that's actually something that I talked about once we finished the episode. I made a statement about what season 3 kind of lacks in Ben's character at certain points, because there are episodes where they do write him competently, like in Single Handed, where when he was in the Null Void, when he realized he didn't have the Omnitrix, he got creative with what he could do, which is a constant with Ben's character most of the time, except in Omniverse, but that's another can of worms. But when he can be written competently, and he can have those moments in the stuff, but when they don't, but I think for what they lack with Ben in certain points, they make up for in Gwen and Kevin. Because while Ben was annoying in this episode, the stuff with Gwen and Kevin and their relationship and them having to actually work through what I think is actually a real hurdle. Kevin having doubts about their relationship because he thinks Gwen's not doing anything, when in reality she's doing everything she can. I like that. I think that's exactly what this episode does. What it make lacks with Ben, it makes up for in them, and that's I think something that season 3 excels in, because of what happened to Kevin, because it was Ben's mistake. You not only have to see how it affects Ben, because he does regret that, and just to see how it affects Kevin and Gwen, as Kevin thinks as a monster he's unworthy of Gwen, while Gwen's trying to convince him that she still cares about him.
I will agree with you on that. I do feel like that's it's their relationship does make up for a lot, and just their character development as in separate parts make up for a lot of Ben's errors in it, or Ben's shortcomings as a character. But it's kind of sad that the title character is being reduced to
stupid stuff.
Yeah, he's the really bad comic relief at this point. And it's kind of sad to watch, because he was, well, at one point that was acceptable behavior. Now he's supposed to be,
he's 15.
Yeah, he's supposed to be this really cool superhero, for lack of a better way to put it, but it's like, not there. Nope, yeah, it's not. No. I don't see it.
No, it's not. No.
And I don't feel like, while I really do appreciate that, it's seeing the two, Gwen and Kevin grow and become farther themselves and everything. I would like to see that in Ben, because he's the one that we came here for.
What I do, I'll give credit to season 3 in this, is that they do call out the behavior. It's just that it's out of character for in several moments. But there are, but in other times, season 3 does kind of makes up for it while having been trying to be mature in some episodes. But again, the big strength of season 3 is Gwen and Kevin, because in fact they actually have an entire episode where Ben is actually a side character. It focuses on Gwen and her trying to fix that, but that's a later vlog down the line. Maybe I'll bring you back for that one, because I think that would be a very interesting topic.
Okay, but I have to say, I would argue that Ben is basically a side character in this one.
That is true, pretty much, because
Charmcaster's
Charmcaster's after Gwen, not Ben.
Yeah, and he's there to be for the dick move at the beginning. He is there for smoothies.
Yeah.
And then for
murder.
And then for one inspirational line.
Yeah.
And then turning away and go.
Yeah.
And that's it. So it's like, he's not really an active role here.
Also, I want to bring up something that, for everyone who's seen what my vlog of What Are Little Girls Made Of and how pissed off that episode made me with the retcon, this episode clearly shows that no, that retcon is dumb. Just dumb. And I know they try and explain it away with Charmcaster and Ultimate Alien, but no, I don't buy it. This episode still shows magic is a real force because Charmcaster is a person who even said she had to work for it. She actually has these powers. And I know they try and make some dumb excuse that she's from, spoiling for Ultimate Alien, that she's from another dimension where they had magic. No. That fact that there is another dimension means that magic is real here in this universe. And I'm sorry, but that retcon still gets on my nerves.
I get it. But, like, it's kind of, like, the same thing as, like, with my issues with Ben. Like, honestly, because, like...
Except this is early as season 1.
Yes, I understand. I get it. It's okay. But, see, you are right, though. I do agree. Magic can't not exist because...
Yeah, magical supervillains.
Yeah.
They went to the Fountain of Youth.
Yep. And the fact that even if she is from a different dimension, the fact that there is magic in that dimension then also disproves that there is no magic. Because if there's magic in that dimension, and the magic obviously transferred over, then, there's magic!
That's weird.
Yeah. So...
But anyway, yeah. Oh, but at the end, I think the episode is okay for what it is. I like seeing Charmcaster again. I like that she actually is still nice, because I actually kind of did have a little bit of doubts about this episode, but I think she was nice. I like seeing the stuff with Gwen and Kevin. It's just kind of stuff with Ben and maybe some moments scattered here and there that kind of, I think, brought the episode down for.
Yeah, no, I still think that Charmcaster is one of my favorite characters, and I do.
That is one reason I think I'll bring you back for the Time Heals review log.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
but no, she's one of my favorite. She's one of my favorite characters, and the fact that we saw Gwen and Kevin, and they actually were.
They bonded.
Yeah, it was pretty great. Very touching.
Yes.
But no, Ben was all sorts of wrong and just did not fit, and so that was kind of
season 3.
Yeah, that brought it down for me. Like, if I was going to be honest, if I were to see this, like, and not have previously agreed, hey, you'll do a vlog with me, and I'm like, okay, cool. If I had not previously agreed to that, I can't guarantee I would have finished the episode with how he was acting, because in my brain, he's the title character, and so I pay attention to him the most. And oh my god, he was so annoying!
Again, that's probably why the big thing with Gwen and Kevin becomes central later. In fact, in a couple of weeks, I have an episode focused on Kevin. But that's another story entirely, and that's for later. But yeah. Okay. So, I think that's pretty much all we can say. It was an okay episode, had some nice moments, some dumb moments, but otherwise, it's passable. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I'm Sam Johnson.
And I'm Halley Dudley.
And tune in next week where we look at the return of yet another Ben 10 alien, and hope and see if he manages to hold up. Maybe. Possibly. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. See you next week.